I'm Mary Kopczynski, the CEO of RegAlytics, with your update on this week's 30,024 regulatory alerts. If you are in government affairs and you're using, let's say, Bgov or Political Pro, it's officially time to give me a call because I think our product really competes and you should come see it. The regulator of the week is Louisiana with over 800 proposed bills, including 5 that caught my eye. A rule that would require public electric vehicle charging facilities to be powered by wind or solar energy rather than carbon fuel-based electricity. A rule that would exclude central bank digital currencies from the definition of a deposit account. A rule that would allow the commissioner to enter into agreements with digital transaction providers to collect fees, taxes, convenience charges, and process applications for digitized credentials. A rule that would allow digital transaction providers themselves, like a sister rule, to collect convenience charges, taxes, and fees related to registration and renewal taxes for driver's license and motor vehicle registrations. And finally, a rule, and wow, Louisiana wants to modernize. This is a big one. It would require registration of all foundation models for large-scale machine learning models in the state. Yuck, that is going to be a complicated process. We'll see how it goes. The topic of the week broadly is China and US national security. In this case, I'm pointing to 2 big moves from the Biden administration. The first one is through the Department of Commerce with an advance notice of proposed rulemaking having to do with connected vehicles, where any part of these vehicles have been designed, developed, manufactured, or supplied by persons owned, controlled by, or subject to foreign countries of concern, which, of course, exclusively right now is China. So that's coming. Also, Biden issued a new executive order on preventing access to Americans' bulk sensitive personal data and United States government related data by countries of concern, which again is, of course, China. And this is the part that freaked me out, and I'm just going to read it straight. It says, these risks are not merely hypothetical and have been tested, such as in 2018, when the publication of a global heat map of users' location data collected by a popular fitness app, one which I use, enabled researchers to quickly identify and map the locations of military and government facilities and activities. Similarly, in 2019, the New York Times writers were able to buy a set of data collected from cell phones, and they could identify, track, and follow military officials with security clearances as they drove home at night, law enforcement officers as they took their kids to school, and lawyers and their guests as they traveled from private jets to vacation properties. Ugh. So if you're one of those people that you're paranoid, everybody's tracking you, I'm going to say you're probably not wrong. What else do you need to know? A new CHIPS NOFO, which is a notice of funding opportunity, is out for semiconductor packaging. So that is money on the table for people to start companies that specialize in packaging semiconductor chips. Also, for those of you who are following the CRA closely, the federal bank regulatory agencies and the Federal Reserve Banks of San Francisco and Chicago are currently at the National Interagency Community Reinvestment Conference in Portland, Oregon. I hope you're there already if you care. A few past laws this week in the states are worth mentioning. Utah passed a law that makes void any confidentiality clauses in employment contracts that prevent employees from discussing or disclosing sexual assault, harassment, or the existence of a settlement agreement related to those issues. New York has amended the limited liability company law to require the disclosure of beneficial owners And it also outlines penalties for non-compliance, and this law is effective January 1st, 2026. So in addition to the beneficial owner rule, you have this new one in New York State. Rhode Island has banned forced production of private keys related to digital assets or identities. And it's interesting because it doesn't stop lawful proceedings that require disclosure, but private keys must only be disclosed if this particular legislation allows it. And that one is effective immediately. So it is currently the law of the land in Rhode Island. And that's it this week for RegAlytics. We have the global supply chain of the world's regulatory alerts in one very easy to use place. If you need a solution for anything related to regulation, give us a call.